Alright, so this will be the last video. This is basically just exporting a file. So right now we have an XCF file, which is the GIMP basic file. It's the same thing as a PSD would be for Photoshop. So now we're going to have to export it. So first of all, we have a 4096 by 4096 paint kit. I released 2048 by 2048 paints for FSX and prepared, and 1024 by 1024 paints for FS9. So I don't use the highest level 4096, the highest level of HG. I don't think 4096 is necessary for the amount of GA traffic we have. So 2048 is what I use. So how we're going to go about that, first of all, is this is a technique that Morten Blindheim from the One Click Hanger taught me on how to export paints and set them up. First of all, we'll go image, flatten image, so that flattens all our layers into just one layer down here. And then now what I want to do is add an alpha channel, because that flatten would have removed our alpha channel we had. So now we have just a basic white alpha channel. And that's what you're going to want for everything except for a couple of models. The Falcon 900s, the alpha channel will have to be based on the areas you have colored green to either remove engine covers or nose cams, things like that. Yeah, I highly recommend not starting out in the Falcon 900 model. It's a little bit tricky to get your hands around. Once you have your kind of a baseline setup of how you're going to go about doing things, then I recommend trying a harder paint kit like that one. But anyway, so we've added the alpha channel. Now what we can do is image, scale image, and now I'm going to go to 2048 because that's what I want. So this might take a while depending on how much detail your paint kit has, that sort of thing. So we just wait patiently here for the scaling process to be done. Typically this won't take as long from the 2048 to the 1024. I will take this time as well to mention two things. First of all, full body paint kits. So some models, specifically the Bombardier Globals and the Gulfstream G650, have their fuselages split up into two sides. Those are where full body paint kits come in very handily. Marco in his updated paint kit has made a full body paint kit for the Globals. And Ken provides a full body paint kit in the G650 paint kit pack, which I don't believe is publicly available yet, but is still planned to be from what I remember. You can use those full body paint kits. They have the same little reg marks that we talked about that help with you with alignment, and you can copy those layers over to the normal paint kit and just paste them on there on the reg marks, and they should line up perfectly. Once again, that's another one of those paint kits that's a little more advanced. Might be worth it to wait on those for a little while. And then also as well, one more thing, the TBAI Cessna Citation models, their tails and fuselages do not align exactly well, even though they are the same style as this, where you have the tail and the fuselage together. So you might have to do some adjustment between the tail and the fuselage to have those line up correctly. Again, those are paint kits I recommend trying after you have a little more experience. Basically, at the start, I recommend mainly working on Henry's models. Those do a really good job of basically providing a nice basic level paint kit for the user to work on. So we've now scaled it down to 2048. We're going to go File, Export As, and then I'm going to go to my folder I have set up for this repaint. And I'm going to change this to 2048, so I know it's a 2048 mn.tga, a targa file. We'll export that without the RLE compression there, and we will export. I export the TGAs because I do my conversion to BMP or TDS in DXT BMP. And then we'll scale down to 1024. And once again, like I said, this should take a little bit less time than it took to get from 4096 to 2048. But it will still take some time. All right. Once again, while we're waiting on this as well, there we go. So we'll go File, Export As once again. This time it'll be a 1024 TGA. It's cool. And there we go. Control Z, Control Z. And at this point, we're done with GIMP. So I'll go ahead and X out of that. And now I'm going to navigate to the folder where I have the TGAs at. So as you can see, the name AI HSS 125-800, 2048, or 1024. Before the 1024, 2048, that is the actual texture name that I'm going to want for the file. You'll typically have to go into the model folder in FSX and look for this texture name, but just make sure it's exactly the same so you have it set up correctly. I'm going to create my folders that I typically have, so a 32-bit BMP and a DDS DXT5 folder, and then I'll add my texture folder in each one. Texture.n979 Charlie Fox. Copy that and paste it here as well. And now at this point, I'll go ahead and I'll open my 2048 file first in DXT BMP. Now you can see the alpha channels blank white. That's what we want on the Hawker model. Maps, I want them on the FSX DDS version of 2048. Image, flip image, because we need to flip it when we're doing a DDS. And we'll save as DDS texture. Right in here, remove the 2048. I'll save it as a DDS DXT5. So at this point, that texture is what we can use in Flight Sim. Then we'll also open our 1024. I will take MIPBOPs off for this one, and then we'll save as extended bit path, 32-bit and 32-bit. There we go. Save. So we're done with DXT BMP. I'll go in my repaints. I'll find my AI HS 125-800 light map I have in here, and we'll copy that to the FS9 32-bit folder. All right, so now what we need to do is make a preview. So I'll go into AI Aircraft Editor. I'll use the snipping tool if it'll load. There we go. Create a new snip. And I'll just start in the corner up here. And I will come down here. And I will save that as our preview. And that's just using the left style shot on AI Aircraft Editor or Model Converter X. So there's a preview done. We don't need this anymore. We'll X out of that. It's very fun when we get to this end here and we can start Xing out of things. You're almost done basically. And I'll just go in here to genuine parts, and that's the last Hawker I did. I'll copy those two files. Take them back here to Cerner, and I will change them for Cerner. So change this for Cerner and here. Basically make your readme how you want it, but basically just make a note that you're not allowed to upload this anywhere without your consent as the original author. And then also for the Hawkers, I make a note that FS9 users won't have FSX or FS9 users won't have access to the 850 XP model. So they can either use the FS native non-winglet model, or they can use an FSX native winglet model that didn't have the winglet mapping beforehand. So we'll save that. And then the flight sim entry, I have a certain way I go about doing this, but basically you just want to make sure that the sim line is what you have in your sim. The model name is correct. 850 XP is what we want. Charlie Fox, change that. I don't know why I have ATC airline in here. I only usually use that for companies that have call signs. Copy this down here on the UI variation. UI created by, I typically do the model, who made the model. I made the repaint, and then I used Marco's enhanced paint kit, so I make a note of that as well. Create this description line, we don't need that. And we are all done. So at this point, we can go ahead and select, remove the TGA and the GIMP file, and we'll send to a zip files, starting our H25B. So at this point, that is everything set up. That file is now ready to upload and it will work for flight sim. Make a note as well, we prefer to use zip files. Some people like to use RAR files. However, things like AI Flight Planner cannot access RAR files. So you'd have to manually unzip those. So using zip files is easier because it makes everything automatic. So like I said, this is the end of the tutorial. This is everything you would need to do basically to create a repaint, primarily focusing on the private jets for Microsoft flight simulators. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My information is, like I said, usually in one of the readmes from one of my files off my site. But feel free to contact me. I'll try to help you in any way I can. Don't make this be perfect. Everything is going to be rather not up to high standards for your first couple repaints. It was for me too. So don't try to be perfect. Just do the best job you can. Gradually develop your skills. Play around. It's going to take a while for your first couple repaints. It usually took me a couple of days for my first couple, and now I'm able to turn them out in a couple of hours. So do your best. Find a good, easy scheme to start on, and work from there. I wish you all the best and enjoy your time.